His life was cut short at 28 years old. Malcom Shabazz, the grandson of famed civil rights activist Malcolm X, mysteriously died while on a trip to Mexico.
It's a significant loss, and it's not only a loss, but the way that the news has been reported, it's been done in such a way as to impugn the legacy of his grandfather.
Some reports say that Shabazz was robbed, while others say he was murdered. In a report from Talking Points memo, according to an associate, Shabazz was badly beaten during a robbery last Wednesday in Mexico City. But others, such as Dr. Randy Short, a friend of Shabazz, have other theories.
There are two stories there. However, the Milenio newspaper out of Mexico City said that when Malcolm was in the hospital, his death was a result of trauma to the body. Trauma to the body isn't gunshot. So this gun that shows up, I don't know why.
There are hundreds of black men that are being murdered all over the United States of America every year.
Recently, Shabazz had become outspoken about the mistreatment of African Americans in the U.S. and the disparities that they face. This Press TV interview with Malcom Shabazz was taken just more than 1 year ago. Malcom Shabazz has been described as a spirited, passionate young man who would sometimes give in to his impulsiveness. He was a supporter of the Occupy movement, and he championed black autonomy, like his grandfather, Malcolm X. Shabazz also had a troubled past. In a few of his run-ins with the law, as a youth he spent time in jail, sentenced for setting a fire that killed his grandmother when he was 12 years old. He was also connected to the Bloods, one of the most prominent street gangs in the country. During his affiliation, he was convicted of attempted robbery and spent several years in prison. But as Shabazz got older, he seemed to gain his footing, willing to follow in his grandfather's footsteps as a leader.
He's very concerned about the situation of police brutality, the prison industrial system. He didn't like the wars without end against Muslims.
In recent interviews, Shabazz discussed how he and his family constantly felt like they were being monitored by the U.S. government. He was working on several books that he said chronicled his life and were expected to explain some of his indiscretions. Shabazz is survived by his mother and 2 daughters. 2 men have been arrested in connection with his death. Colin Campbell, Press TV, Washington.